or grab a Coke and find that old VHS. We're diving deep in cheesy flicks. Yeah, we're on a vintage quest. Low reviews but high on laughs. Let's give these films a cheer. The cult classics, flops, and duds. There are topics this year. We're the Ejectables, rolling back the years, celebrating movies that no one else cheers. From backhand juice to epic fails, we say it's all good. We're the Ejectables, yeah, we're misunderstood.
Woo!
Woo! Sung by the great Joe.
Yes. Welcome to the Ejectables, the show where movie enthusiasts Bill, Ian, and Joe, who's missing tonight, but he sends his best, join forces with a rotating weekly guest to celebrate films that the critics and or audience have panned or left behind. Dummies. Each episode, our panel dives into a movie they believe has been unfairly panned or unjustly considered a flop, something that you truly love and you don't care what other people think. And tonight we have Roper.
Woo!
He is with us. Thank you for being on our show, Roper.
Yay! Hey, Roper. Thank you, Roper.
And Ian, welcome back.
Thanks for having me, Bill.
I like the giant glasses. Very good.
Oh, thank you. But so I can see.
There's no glass on him. He just wears it for aesthetic reasons.
No, I really can't see without him. Like, you're super blurry.
All right.
Do we know if the helicopters have tracked down Joe yet? They're still.
Yeah. I think we'll learn by 7:00. You know,
it was a hike. He was. I hope to find him. Jeez, he's such a good guy. Anyway, we got the song at least. Huh.
Thank God we have the song. Yeah. Thoughts and prayers. Well, Roper,
who did that? Who did that? Music is great. I love.
It was Joe, our lost host.
Yes.
Oh, it's good. I love the music. It's kind of like cheesy, like 80s sort of music. Like it.
Yeah, hopefully I like the remix coming around Christmas time.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll put it on vinyl.
It's gonna sell a lot now that he's missing.
I know, right?
That's very old school.
Like Elvis.
I don't know how you intend this to work. I mean, I have tons of things.
So let's talk about the movie you picked that you love.
Well, it's
so what's the name of it?
Movie that I'm in love with.
So what's the name of it?
It's called it's from 1988, called Tapeheads.
Ooh.
It's
all right.
Tim Robbins and John Cusack, and it's sort of like, what I feel like is interesting about it is it was a terrible flop. It's actually not a very good movie, actually.
But why do you like it?
I just love it's interesting to me to see Tim Robbins as a child.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like he's 12. And John Cusack is like just John Cusack, but he also looks really young. And just thought, like, I was turned on to this movie by my friend David King, who's a filmmaker who sadly died by suicide. And
I'm sorry.
Yeah, who's my best friend.
Oh man.
And like, he turned me on to this movie, and I thought it was really funny. And I think one of the things, if there's anything redeeming about this movie, I would say it is the music, which is hilarious. There's a bunch of scenes that are done in where they're making music videos. So the premise of the movie is these guys start making music videos, and they're doing these for these like really obscure bands, like from Europe. It's really funny. So they did. There's a band called Cube Squared, which is
so 80s.
It's so funny. And it's like, honestly, I just always thought that this is just so funny. And the baby doll thing, which is, I think, Cube Squared, where they're doing the video for this band, and Tim Robbins gets up on the scaffolding above and dumping paint on them, and it's just it's insane. It's like this would never be made today. It's
weren't they like a German band or something? They were like
yeah. They're like from Europe.
It was hilarious. Yeah.
A baby doll, baby doll, baby doll. And then
he like blowing feathers at them as well to stick.
And then he yeah, exactly. He kind of like tars and feathers them. It's real. It's like I've never seen anything.
And the band is like, what's going on? Okay, we're gonna continue playing.
Yeah, they keep going.
Yeah,
keyboards as it's covered with paint and everything. Like I guess what I find so refreshing about this film is it is just so incredibly bonkers that this ever got made, and that the content that's in it is as bonkers as it is. I mean, it kind of reminds me of it doesn't remind me of anything because there's nothing been done that's like this. It's just insane, and I can't believe they did. I can't believe they got this thing funded, but it's really funny. One thing I noticed, it's kind of a 80s buddy movie, and so that's kind of where it seems to be coming from, is sort of that 80s buddy movie genre. But it has a lot of interesting quirks to it. Oh God, I'm reading a prosperity through exploitation. That's one of the things. There's this recurring theme of Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles from LA.
Yeah,
talking about that, and they do really funny music videos about Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. And I realized one of the things that I really liked about, it was memorable to me that when I go back and think about it, is there was this line that I found out just rewatching it, that it's only in the credits, and I love it because it's at the
end of the credits.
In the end credits, he goes, burgers are greasy and pizza's plain nasty. Then little tacos are messy and raspy. I was like, that's so great. I don't know why that wasn't in the movie. And the Roscoe guy is like totally, it's totally racist. Like, honestly, the whole thing, the premise is racist. But
some of these 80s movies, whew.
Yeah, but I just thought, like, as I'm rewatching it, I'm starting to think about it, and I'm thinking, wow, that's racist. I mean, it's like everything kind of that you look back at and from the 80s is sort of racist anyway, because it's just the way things were. But I think that this movie, like, does have a sort of a central nugget of sweetness, sort of like a lovely sort of sweet center.
I think that's Tim Robbins that kind of brings that to the film. He has such a natural sweetness and kind of smart aloofness that really seeps into this film.
Yeah, I would agree. I think, I mean, I'm a big Tim Robbins fan generally, like, obviously for all the work that he's done. He's been, he's a great actor and all that, but he also just brings this sort of childlike energy to it. It's watchable, which is, it's hard to even imagine that this is watchable because it's really a piece of shit.
I think there's a lot to like. I don't know.
There's 75% of it's to like.
Ian, what did you think of it?
I think, like I said, I think there's a lot to like. I think it's scattered. It's all over the place. But I think what holds this movie together and makes you want to sit through it, and I would recommend it, like you are recommending it.
Yeah, I recommend
the chemistry between John Cusack and Tim Robbins. Again, that sweet, natural, intelligent, aloof energy by Tim Robbins, and then the kind of off the wall John Cusack, who's always scheming and trying to do that next thing. and it just works so beautifully. And it's sincere. I don't know, there's this sincerity and this great chemistry between them. Favorite line in the movie, John Cusack says to Tim Robbins, "You need what I got." And Tim Robbins says, "Herpes?" Great line.
Yeah, it's so pro forma in my opinion. Like the script is sort of like a classic sort of buddy movie kind of thing, but there's so much more. Well, when you have actors that are as good as Cusack and Robbins, I mean, like they're just really good at what they do, and I felt like there was a lot to like about it. You know, rewatching it, I was kind of like, wow, it's actually better than I thought it would be.
It's a movie I saw in the 80s because I love They Might Be Giants. And I remember Put Your Hand Inside the Puppet Head is in this movie. So I pursued this movie back then. So this movie had a $3 million budget, grossed $344,000. So ow.
Is that good?
Wow. Ooch.
No.
That's not good.
That's not good. But I feel like they were trying to make a Blues Brothers movie here. And they have like lots of cameos like the Blues Brothers. Maybe I've never seen the Blues Brothers. Only see pieces of it. But Bill, what did you think of this movie?
Yeah, you can't drop a nugget like that. You never seen the Blues Brothers? I bet you will hate it. So this is produced by Mike Nesmith, whose mom created Whiteout. I'd say it's a punk rock comedy from the 80s. I like the time capsule that it is.
So he's not from the Monkees.
Yes.
It is the guy.
I was wondering about that because I was like, Nesmith. I remember that.
He was one of the first innovators of music videos, Michael Nesmith.
And he was the one holding the water bottle, the water guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was one of the first. He was involved in the technology. He made like a VHS thing that became a template for music videos. Oh. So I think that's why he produced it. But I think he's from Texas, and his mom created Whiteout. She was the secretary. It's
wow.
God, that's really obscure. Thank you, Bill.
You're welcome.
Something good came out of Texas. All right.
I love some of the things I would say I love about this is the name of the bands. Like Cube Squared is insane. They were touring the Congo in a couple of days. That's one of the things I jotted down when I was watching it. It was like, we're touring the Congo in a couple of days. And then the other metal band that they have in this thing is called Blender Children.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Which I think is just a fucking genius thing. I'm not supposed to swear, right?
No, you can swear. You can.
Yeah.
Anyway, Blender Children. Great band name.
I think Mike Nesmith's making fun of the music industry. For a $3 million movie, it looks like it was shot on Scotch tape.
I think it doesn't.
It's not great. It doesn't look very good.
Yeah,
that living will scene is so funny when they're like doing this living will, then the guy dies, then they like move his mouth, and it's so good.
Yeah,
and this director he directed the new Marlon Brando movie with Billy Zane, so he's still working. Definitely, it's before these guys got serious. Like Tim Robbins and John Cusack were really comedy. They had an innate comedy talent, and you could just tell like the funny got sucked out of them in the 90s.
Oh, I miss this Cusack a lot. This Cusack is so fun.
He's like always smoking a cigar and acting really weird in this movie.
He's great. He's so great in this.
And then when I watched this movie,
think
about how much those lofts were in 1988.
How much those whats were?
Lofts were.
Oh yeah. No, I think there's so much to enjoy here, even if it doesn't fully come together. There's just so many funny scenes. I cannot recommend this enough given what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
I think it's worth it. I think what I would say is it's definitely worth it for what it is. And we don't get a lot of 80s movies to go look at. They're not making them anymore.
This is so original and daring for the time it came from.
Yes, it's very punk rock.
Yeah. And this guy directed tons of rock videos.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, for like the Dead
Kennedys. I think it's my takeaway, and I'm going to stop and tell you guys can move on to the next movie. the thing I like about it is it is a fairly sweet movie.
Mhm.
It has a lot of kind of love going on. It's just love. It's beautiful. It's nice. There's not a lot about it that I feel is, it's kind of like 80s movies. I feel like I'm missing this a lot lately. It's just that real the appeal of a sweet movie that just doesn't um, try to overwhelm and deaden and
Mhm.
disgust people. Like,
Yeah.
I really like this nice
It's
way
just
they're
fun.
going about it. It's like it's a lovely thing. It's a beautiful thing. You can take it and enjoy it, and you can leave feeling pretty happy. And it's not like
Yeah.
a complete downer or whatever. Because I find that so much lately. It's like life is so dismal.
Mhm.
Our current political culture, our
Ooh.
current culture is so full of garbage
Yeah.
that things like this, to me, bring me back to my childhood because I'm an 80s kid. I'm 49.
I'm 52. I'm the old guy.
You old bastard. You
I am
didn't look
the
that old.
bastard. Oh,
Um,
it's a nice camera.
This
yeah,
vast.
I appreciate it for that aspect of it. Like, it makes me feel good.
Yeah, I agree. And I want to, not to get sad or anything, but I want to thank your friend for inspiring you to talk about this movie, to bring it to us, to make us rewatch it, because it really is a really good time. So
Yeah.
I don't know. So thank you to your friend.
So, Ian, what movie did you pick?
Well,
Oh,
talking about
I would make one. I need to share with Bill and Ian.
Yeah.
I would love for you guys to watch Bigfoot: The Search for Sasquatch, which was the final movie that my buddy did for his for.
I think this is maybe a movie you should come back to the show for.
We'll come back. We'll watch Bigfoot: The Search for Sasquatch. It was my buddy's Loyola Marymount thesis movie.
Oh, no way. Cool. And it is findable?
Where can you find it?
Yeah, YouTube or something?
On a VHS in my office.
Okay, what's your address? We're breaking in.
I'll send you guys that.
Okay.
His cousin who's is making a documentary on him. So.
Oh, great.
Awesome. I'd love to see it.
I'm working with him on that documentary.
Awesome.
Okay, so talking about, so you were saying the sweetness of Tapeheads and how it's a nice distraction from these wacky times. My choice is Brigsby Bear, and it's a movie from, I believe it's 2017, and there's the poster. It is the perfect film for these uncertain, kind of wacky, dark times. This movie does not have a mean bone in its body. It is quirky, yet kind of familiar. It's a story about this young man who has been living in a bunker with who he thinks is his parents for all of his life since he was a baby. And he grew up watching this TV show. Really, his only exposure to the outside world was this TV show about this bear called Brigsby Bear. And it taught him all these lessons and showed him this wondrous space world or whatever the Brigsby Bear is from. But then the authorities show up at the bunker and he finds out that these aren't his real parents he's been living with. This is all in the first 10 minutes, so I'm not spoiling anything. And the authorities say that he was abducted when he was a baby and taken to the bunker by these people who are not his parents. And so the authorities bring him to be reunited with his real parents, who he doesn't even know. And he doesn't know this world. He thinks you can't even go outside because the air is poisonous. And so then he finds out there's other people in the world, and all he knows is this Brigsby Bear thing. And then he realizes, oh, Brigsby Bear's not real. No one else knows this pop culture that he knows. And it is just, you would expect this movie would have a bad guy, and they kind of allude like, oh, one of these cops isn't a nice guy. And there's just nothing dark in it. It's just completely sweet. It's got Claire Danes in it. It has Kyle Mooney, who plays the lead, who I believe also wrote it. I believe he's a writer for SNL. It has Mark Hamill as the supposed father, who is not his dad.
Wow.
Andy Samberg is in it. It is just...
Well, Andy produced it also.
Oh, did he? It's like a familiar fish out of water story.
Well, Hamill, I mean, having Hamill in there is just like kind of like a mind blower.
Yeah, so Mark Hamill did the voice. He plays the kidnapping father, who he voices Brigsby Bear and all the characters in Brigsby Bear. And it's just so this is honestly one of my favorite films, so I cannot recommend it enough. It's not a random pick. I love this movie.
I'm gonna watch it because this is what we need. Right
Yeah,
now.
it's so like it's just so like I don't know if Bill loved it because it is definitely.
No, I did. Did you see it in the theater?
No. So it's a movie I wanted to see in the theater, but it didn't play anywhere near me or anywhere. So I found it at home. But no one knows this movie, but it's so worth seeing.
I've never watched a movie where I was like, what is gonna happen next? I was like, every time I thought I figured it out, I was like, this is crazy, you know. And then there's a lot of really funny jokes in there that are very subtle. Because Andy Samberg produced it. The direction, the cinematography are spectacular.
It looks great. Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
Action, or is it like, what is the deal?
It's action.
Yeah,
It's
Brigsby is a puppet character within this. Like that's sort of a small part of it. But when he realizes that Brigsby Bear isn't known to anyone else, he decides he wants to make his own Brigsby Bear, realizing that there's a studio where where Mark Hamill produced this show to introduce to him. He wants to go in and make his own Brigsby Bear movie, and that's what he sets out to do with the new friends he makes on the outside. And it's just so sweet. Don't you agree, Bill? There's just not a main character in it.
I don't know how they came up with this. It's one of the most original movies I've ever seen.
But yet familiar, right? The fish out of water aspect.
Well, you know, it deals with some really tough themes.
Yes, in a light way.
Yeah, it's like A Life of Pi, but Life of Pi is one of the greatest movies and one of the greatest books ever. He was great in it. The mom, Mark Hamill's wife, between this and Todd Solondz movies, I forget her name. She's so talented, but
she usually has much bigger roles than she does in this film.
I know,
I didn't know Mark Hamill was married, so that's
no.
Just in the movie.
In the movie,
yeah.
You know, Mark is definitely he's great. He's cast right.
I mean, he was a pretty terrible actor in the 80s. I mean,
well, I think he had a bad car accident. I think it messed up his his mouth. Yeah.
Sorry.
No. You don't have to be sorry. That's why in Empire Strikes Back they had him get attacked by
mauled. Yeah,
because of the car accident.
Yeah, and Empire, of course, as we all know, the best of them all.
Yes, written by a woman, and then she died, and Lawrence Kasdan took over. Little interesting fact. Definitely. I mean, I was trying to find what this guy's directed, but it's like one of the best shot movies I've seen in the last 15 years.
And it's really like as sweet as it is, as funny as it is, it's really touching at times, almost to the point of tears. Not in a sad way, just it's very moving in the sweetness and how oblivious he is to the world and how kind everyone is to him. It's so good.
Definitely in the movie, it's not made an impact though. It's crazy.
No one knows it.
And I think I'm a big I'm gonna watch it tonight because I think we need more of this from what you're telling me about it. We just need more better, sweet, lovely things in our lives.
Agreed. And it's rentable. I don't think it's streaming free anywhere, but you can rent it for like $3 or $4 on Amazon or on iTunes. Definitely pursue
if you live in Portland like Bill and I do, you can go down.
What's that?
If you live in Portland like Bill and I, you can go to the best video store in the United States.
I live in Connecticut. There's nothing.
It's called Movie Madness. Yeah.
Movie Madness.
Okay, I'm on my way over.
Okay.
3 days.
After you break into Roper's house.
Yeah. Well, I'll do that when I get there.
Okay.
Come visit. We'll sort it all out then.
Watch Brigsby with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's great.
Must see it.
I'm super happy to have another recommendation of something that's really uplifting and kind of make you feel good.
It's so good. Such perfect escapism for right now. So, Bill, what movie did you do?
So I picked an 80s comedy. It's called Used Cars. It stars Kurt Russell, and it's directed by Robert Zemeckis. It's produced by John Milius and Steven Spielberg. And Zemeckis and his Back to the Future writer Bob Gale wrote it. It came out in 1980. It is definitely
never know it, by the looking at the people's clothes.
I know. It's definitely an R-rated comedy, but New York Times said it's one of the most underrated comedies of all time. Massive bomb when it came out. I think it came out late summer. It tested through the roof, and then I think Sony or Columbia released it in the late summer, which hampered his chances. I think it's one of the funniest movies ever made. I love the throwaway lines. I understand that it's a little risque. It's about two competing used car lots in Arizona, and the way they drum up business is Jack Warden's in it, and Jack Warden plays two roles. There's this really old used car lot that Kurt Russell has, and then there's a fancy used car lot across the street. Jack Warden plays both roles, trying to get his brother's crappy used car lot so that they could build a freeway, and Jack Warden can be even richer. So in order to save it after the richer brother kills the poorer brother, they decide to hijack the airwaves with strippers and other naughty stuff. And it's definitely R-rated, but and I'm sure in 1980, I don't think it works. Some of the jokes don't work as well, but it's really, really awesome, really inventive. This is Zemeckis at his best. And because Zemeckis really was like a comedy writer. They did 1941. They did I Want to Hold Your Hand. And after this, he was in director jail, and Michael Douglas hired him to do Romancing the Stone. That's what got him back on his feet, and he went back to Spielberg to do Back to the Future, and everything changed. I think it's one of the best movies ever. I've been told that women don't super love it, but
why is that?
I don't know. You tell me, Ian.
Okay, so I had never seen this movie, and I want to be clear for the audience who, like me, maybe this is not Car Wash. They are separate movies. I had no idea. I thought they were the same movie. I haven't seen either of them.
What's it called? Rental car?
It's called Used Cars.
Used car. Okay. So
it's on Tubi, Roper.
I've heard of used cars, but I just have never taken the plunge and checked it out.
If you want 1980s escapism, this is the movie for you.
This is very much of its time. It's 1980, so it feels very 1978, 79.
Yeah.
And it's what I did appreciate about it. And I didn't dislike it. And I'll get to that one part that we're talking about. What I did appreciate about it was kind of how you see politics in the background and kind of the issues Carter was having at the time, which they do address. And in the film, it's like the economy's not good and all that. And now Carter's like, whatever, won't go into that. He's amazing and almost dead.
Well, you have to. We also let's take a little pause and talk about the fact, just for 1 second, that when Carter was running for re-election, Reagan prevented the release of the hostages in Iran to screw over Carter.
Yeah, it sounds like familiar politics.
Bullshit.
That would never happen.
Yeah,
that would never happen now.
But he was, I mean, I didn't.
That would never happen now.
He was such a good guy, is what I'm saying. But so I wasn't really.
Oh, he's a lovely man. I sent him I sent Rosalind and Jimmy a letter, physical letter.
Yeah.
To wish them well, and they sent me a lovely little card back.
When you were a kid?
No, right. 2 years.
That's cool. That's so cool.
Yeah, he sent me this really cute little card with gold embossment, and he was like, "It means a great deal to me."
That's really cool. I still have I got a card from, I forget what grade I was in, like first grade or second grade, when we all wrote to Reagan because he got shot, and we got this little card back from the White House. I still have that. Not that I'm a big Reagan fan, but it's still neat.
I heard you are.
But I did get back from Jimmy Carter, and my first words were Jimmy Carter. So
he's the first one I remember.
Anyway, really, Roper? Really?
Yeah, my first words were Jesus, and then my second words were Jimmy Carter. Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
No.
You sure it wasn't Cheez-Its?
Catholic family.
Maybe it was Cheez-Its. I don't know.
Well, it wasn't Cheez-Its. It was actually Jesus.
Okay,
Although I will point out that I am a big fan of Cheez-Its. I would also point out that I'm a big fan of the ones that have the Tabasco sauce embedded.
Do they still make them?
Yeah. Cheez-Its
Oh,
with Tabasco.
Is that to symbolize the blood? I'm sorry, I'm being offensive now. Sorry. Okay, sorry. Back to the movie. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm digressing.
No, I'm with you. I'm totally with you.
We're having fun, John. We're having fun, Rupert.
So as this movie is of its time, they do this commercial that Bill is talking about where they're going to get onto live TV to get a lot of people to come. That's the next scene following this one. They're trying to do this commercial. They have this model sitting on one of the cars they're trying to sell, and her dress gets stuck in the hood. She's just a model. She's wearing clothes, but then she's like, oh no, my dress is stuck. And then she stands up and her dress makes her topless because it rips off. And so Squiggy from Laverne and Shirley, because Lenny and Squiggy are in this movie because it's 1980. Of course they're in it. He's like filming her, and then he's like zooming in on her inappropriately, and she's like trying to cover herself. And this is like, you feel bad because she just wants to be a model. And then he starts to grope her. And I'm like, oh my God. Like the fact that was funny then is so disturbing. Because that's not funny. Is that?
Not a big fan of that.
No.
Every movie has problematic stuff.
True. I agree. It is true.
And I'm not stop and stipulate and not call him Lenny and call him by his given name.
David Lander? Yeah.
No, the guy from Best in Show.
Michael McKean. Well, no, David Lander is the Squiggy.
Oh, he's Squiggy. I'm talking about Lenny.
Yeah.
So they actually were named Lenny and Squiggy.
Let's not demean Lenny.
Yes. They changed their names to these other names so people wouldn't always think of them as Laverne and Shirley, but they're really Lenny and Squiggy. Fact.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
But Lenny, we want to make sure that we understand that that is our friend.
Yeah.
The marvelous Michael McKean.
Yes. Yeah. Who is still alive because he did not move the one.
Genius of film.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, see, it was a different time. It's like the Breakfast Club scene and then 16 Candles.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's true.
Yeah, I will defend Michael McKean and Christopher Guest all day long.
Yeah. But no, Squiggy's the one that filmed it. Yes, it was
kind of a loser too. Anyway,
it was very disturbing watching that, and I wonder in its time was that funny? Like I don't know, but I don't want to get stuck on that because there are good things to this movie, like the whole end chase. Not to give away anything, it's like Mad Max Fury Road,
and all in camera.
Let's also give a shout out for Mad Max Fury Road, which was
phenomenal,
unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
this movie inspired
the last decade for sure.
Not really funny though.
Before Mad Max. Oh no, this
not
is
funny, but great.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I saw that in the theater. And I came out just changed person.
Fury Road.
Yeah, I love Fury Road.
I didn't like it the first time. Second time, I loved it. So I don't know what's wrong with me the first time.
It grows on you. But Spielberg came up with the idea. I guess it was like, it was like an Animal House type of. It was a comedy, and I think that it was bodacious, and I get it. That one scene is problematic, but.
And then the strippers on the cars later, and they bring in families with little kids. Best part. Wait, can I just interrupt?
Yeah.
Best part about the movie is Toby the dog.
Yes.
There's a line when Jack Warden says to Toby, the Jack Warden that dies at the beginning. Not much of a spoiler because it's in the first 10 minutes. And he's like, no, Toby, I said the Phillips screwdriver. How
yes.
is that? Because he brought the wrong kind of screwdriver. Toby the Beagle. So good. Sorry, go on.
And it's streaming on Tubi if you want to check it out. Just fast forward the part that Ian objects to. And
I hope you object to it too.
Yeah, I can see what it is. Like, I mean, I never when you do like the Breakfast Club, like that scene with Judd Nelson, even as a kid, I'd be like, yeah, that's wrong, but I'm not gonna do that.
I'm sure the actress making the movie knew what she was doing. So yeah.
I think that well, she was a Penthouse pet also in real life.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but not that she deserves it. But
I feel like there's a lot of terrain we could go over and over and over again, and we would be horrified by it or whatever.
Yeah.
But like the reality is that happened in the past. We must move forward, and we can always understand why that stuff was done in those days. Like I'm again, like Bill,
Yeah.
Ian,
Well, like you could.
we're all old guys, so
True.
we had some tolerance for this. I don't have a lot of tolerance for this stuff anymore,
Yeah.
but I understand it better than most, like younger people that would view this stuff and become very upset about it. And I'm not upset about it, but I just feel like, yeah, I get it.
Oh, because we lived through the changes and we've seen the changes over time of how people used to act, like in the 80s, the things people used to say, and then we're like, oh, good, they don't say those things anymore.
I said terrible things in the 80s too, but yeah, I think that's
I never did.
worth pointing that out.
Yeah,
because you guys and me are in the same
I'm in the next decade.
well, no, but come on.
Thank you.
You're fine. But we're all part of the same era. And
I mean, these glasses,
like a lot of those movies were like, and everything like that. So like we get beat ourselves up, but like, yeah, we can always do better.
Sure.
In terms of how we treat people, how the movie industry treats people, all these things are
we learn from their mistakes.
Yeah, it's important to be thinking about how people interpret this stuff and to be sort of welcoming to all different people. But also, it's like I'm not going to not watch movies from the 80s because they're offensive. Because
right.
We should definitely watch Used Cars on Tubi, despite what Ian says.
There's plenty, I think, to appreciate in it. I didn't love it, but I was telling Bill I'm not a huge comedy fan. I can't explain why, but I didn't think it was very funny. And leaving that part out, like for me, it just wasn't very funny. I appreciated that the end looked like Mad Max a little bit.
Yeah,
and I like Toby the dog. I think some acting was good. I loved Kurt Russell. I loved him in this. His energy, like, I mean, he's been great all along, but he's so charismatic. There's stuff to like, and the guy that was in Phantom of the Paradise who plays
Garrett, he was awesome.
He's so good in this. There's a lot to like here, just not necessarily for me.
Okay, let me say today's episode is brought to you by Grit and Script, your ultimate screenwriting website. If you need screenwriting coverage, check out gritandscript.com.
Yay!
Yay! They found Joe. They found Joe. He's okay?
Yeah, they found him.
He's being airlifted.
Okay.
Oh, just some scrapes. Okay, good. Okay. Woo! Thank you. Joe's going to be fine. He'll be back next time.
Okay, Roper. Out of all of those movies, you can't pick yours. You pick.
If I wanted to, are you trying to tell me to wrap up?
Oh no! If you got something else to say, let's do it.
I would. Well, I was just thinking of like this makes me think about other movies that I really love.
Yeah,
and I would say, if people are needing a pick me up, something to make them feel good.
The Emoji Movie.
For some reason, I'm thinking of. I would say the three I would recommend is Best in Show, Waiting for Guffman, Spinal Tap.
I see a theme here.
Yeah, of course. But anyway, I love those ensemble casts in those movies. They're just like they bring so much joy to my life that if people haven't seen those things, I really encourage people to look for those movies and seek them out and enjoy just the joy that those movies bring you.
Those are comedies I like.
And they're doing a sequel to Spinal Tap. So,
oh my God, are you kidding me?
No, they're filming it now, right?
Oh my God. Are you kidding? Are you in on that?
No, I'm not in on it. Hold on. I'm pretty sure they're filming a sequel. Hold on. Let me find out.
Bill's lying again.
No, I'm not lying. I think that.
Sorry, audience.
Anyway, I love those things, and
it's coming.
I just like it's a bleak world. It's a bleak world, and when you can enjoy something so lovely and nuanced and sweet as those movies, and
like Brigsby Bear.
anything that's done that we get to enjoy from Christopher Guest and those guys. I mean, it's such a great pleasure to see their ensemble cast working together and doing just that incredible work where they deliver every time.
The improvisation is so good.
Yeah, it's just such a fantastic group.
I recommend those as well.
It's coming out next year, Roper. So Spinal Tap 2.
I almost like my brain almost exploded.
That would be so gross.
I'm such a Spinal Tap head. Like I've watched that movie. I'm not kidding. 200 times.
Wow. I think I've seen it once. If once.
Oh.
But if your head had exploded, it would have been like Scanners.
I know. I was about to do that reference, which I've never seen
here.
It's kind of boring.
Okay, well, all right, let's wrap up. So Ian, pick a movie.
I'm gonna have to go out of those two choices, definitely Tapeheads.
I'm gonna go with Tapeheads also. And Roper, I think you're like Brigsby Bear. I'm
gonna love it.
I'm gonna say Brigsby Bear, and I'm gonna watch that. But the one movie that I keep I come back to over and over again, that's not part of this conversation. I know this is inappropriate.
Yeah,
that's okay.
If people have never seen the movie Shortcuts,
yeah, I love it.
They should watch that movie.
That was
one of the best movies ever made.
Robert Altman.
Amazing.
It was a 2 VHS set. Was that?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I have it on DVD. I have it on DVD. It's if you want to borrow it, it's
all right.
When I break in, can I just say I want to say thank you to Roper for being the very first person that chose my movie pick at the end of the show.
I love it. I can't wait to watch that movie.
I hope you like it for real.
No, I will. I'm sure I will.
All right.
It was such a pleasure to be with you guys tonight.
Yeah, no,
I appreciate coming on.
I really appreciate the opportunity.
No, we had great fun, and let's hold on a second. This is where we have a theme song coming up at the end. Yeah, just sing it. Okay. All right, until next time. All right, thanks, Roper. Thanks, Ian.
Thank you, Roper. Thank you, Bill.
Roper, stay after. Don't hang up after we.
And yay, Joe's alive.
Pop the popcorn, grab a Coke, and find that old VHS. We're diving deep in cheesy flicks. Yeah, we're on a vintage quest. Low reviews but high on laughs. Let's give these films a cheer. The cult classics, flops and nuts, there are topics this year. We're the Ejectables, rolling back the years, celebrating movies that no one else cheers. From backhanded juice to epic fails, we say it's all good. We're the Ejectables, yeah, we're misunderstood.